All of your student engagement virtual programmers have joined forces to bring you a comprehensive video each week. Every Tuesday at 12 p.m., be sure to tune in to the Student Involvement Instagram page for a rundown of the week's events and a conversation with special guests. This week, we will be discussing involvement and building social connections.
So a lot of times when people think about social capital, they think about making friends, right? Which is a really important part of building social capital. But in reality, building social capital means building connections with a variety of different people, whether it be colleagues or maybe it's professors, or perhaps you strike up a conversation with someone on the bus or an airplane. And so in reality, a lot of researchers say that social capital can often be worth more than money because it can lead you to your next job or career, or maybe you're moving to a different place and they give you certain recommendations and advice. And so we will talk about social capital in a virtual setting and what that might mean for you as a student.
First, we would like to start off with our personal stories of how we got involved in college and in what areas of campus. Beth, can you lead us off with your story?
Yeah, I think I have a couple of different things that come to mind. As a first generation college student, I played sports in college. And so right away, I met a group of women who ended up becoming some of my best friends. And so I'll actually be seeing a friend who's getting married. And so I think those connections were really important to build that support network. And I kind of found my team at the college that I attended. But more importantly, I played volleyball, but often had to leave early to go to games for the weekends. So I actually got to know my professors really well one-on-one because I had to make up assignments and make up some class time. So those connections were a lot more important because over time, I went to grad school, so I needed someone to write a letter of recommendation. So they actually served as the folks who wrote some of my letters of recommendation. But also B, even recently, I kept in contact with the same professors, and one of those professors emailed me and said, "Hey, I would really like to nominate you for an award. Can you send me your resume?" And so I was kind of taken back, like, me? Like, you're going to nominate me? Like, this is awesome. And so I think a lot of times we don't know how much those connections matter until they bring us opportunities. And so it's really important to kind of get to know different folks. Sometimes it can be awkward to get out of your comfort zone, but get to know your professors, get to know the folks that you work with, because in the long run, you don't know what those connections might bring to you.
I know for me in my journey, when I went away to school, and, I was so excited, and academically I was thriving, but socially I was struggling to find where I fit. And I remember specifically walking behind these two women, and they were just saying hi to like everyone they knew. And I was just so amazed at how many connections these two individuals had just from walking to class. And I really thought to myself, I really want to be like that. That's something that I strive for. And I chose to attend an involvement fair and get to know some of the organizations that existed on campus, which led to my involvement in my educational pursuit. And so I joined a sorority. I was involved in student government. I was involved in my major, the club that was associated with my major. And so those led to so many connections that would have never been built if I did not take that opportunity to step outside of my comfort zone and kind of put myself out there to meet new people and introduce myself. And it was uncomfortable at first, but then it became more normal the more I did it. And what was really great was as I progressed, you have these people who kind of lift up others to say, come along this journey with me. And I think that that's so important, that what we can do for one another is say, I'm having this great college experience and I want you to have that experience as well. And I think that's what so many of our club and organizations students at Harper do for students, is say, we want you here, come on in, join our club. It's really important that you meet us, and we want you here. We want to get to know you better. And so that's what we hope that you kind of take out of this, is that your involvement in a athletic team and a club or organization working on campus, there's a lot of different areas where you can invest your time and yourself into kind of building that social capital that Beth talked about, and really utilizing that to your benefit to ensure that you're making the most of your college experience. And so that was my story, but Melanie, love to hear yours.
So my story actually began with someone inviting me in and saying, I'm having a great time, come with me. I attended the local community college when I began my higher education journey. And one of the girls that I went to high school with became involved in student activities early in the semester. She was much more outgoing than I, so she jumped right in. And we were having lunch one day because you sit with who you know when you're new in college. And she said, I have a meeting after lunch, come with me, see what this is all about. Fast forward a few weeks, I became the vice president of that organization and eventually the president. And through those different opportunities, I had the option to work with different vendors. I met many other students in different clubs through that student life office. And that girl who invited me in is still my best friend. So even after being removed from college for a few years at this point, those are still the people that I call when I want to talk to a friend, or when something exciting happens, or when something not so exciting happens. The connections that you make in college really are the connections that you carry for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing. I think what was really important throughout my career and understanding what I wanted to do. Now I'm a wellness manager at Harper College, but I didn't know that you could get a job working at a college. And really, I just started asking questions, and I happened to work at the student union at the college that I attended, just checking in and out games and making IDs for students. And so I just started to ask my supervisor, like, how do you get your job? Like, this seems cool. Like, how do you get to be involved with clubs and organizations on campus? And so she told me that she went to school for higher ed and student affairs. And so I didn't even know that career existed until I started asking questions. And so I think that is a little bit of advice for folks is, don't be afraid to ask questions if you're curious. And also, I think sometimes it can feel uneasy or intimidating to strike up a conversation with someone, but in reality, you never know what places it'll lead you.
Absolutely, Beth. I was in the same boat of, it wasn't until really I was like a senior that I was like, so you can do this for a job, like, and that's a career path. And I think that's so important for our students to understand, is exactly that there's so many opportunities, and it's really about exploring those opportunities and finding the right fit for you. And that's what we're here to do, is to help you find what path is the right path for you. And we have a lot of resources on campus to help you, but we're also here to help. If you have questions to ask us, we'll be happy to answer them. So, one of the things in regarding being involved on campus, one is there's a lot of research, no matter what institution you go to, the importance of involvement on a college campus. So students who are involved are more likely to do better academically, develop better relationships with other students, with employees of the college. They're more likely to have a more diverse group of friends and try new things. And all of those things are great because it helps you build yourself. Who is it that you want to be? And exposing yourself to those different experiences helps you build that person and make those choices for yourself. So I want to share out some of the ways that you can do that. And one is to connect with some of our clubs and organizations. I know that we're remote this semester, but we are still hosting club and organization meetings virtually, and they have so many opportunities for you to connect with them. So if you're interested in finding a student group to join, please go to the student involvement homepage and click on the Virtual Clubs tab at the top of the page. From there, each of our clubs have their own website that you can visit and learn more about what they do and how to join. So again, to find a list of events to join, visit the Student Involvement Virtual Programming page or the campus calendar that lists out all the different ways that you can connect to other students.
If you would prefer to begin your involvement in real time, you can join us tomorrow, Wednesday, the 16th, from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. for our virtual HULLABALOO. During this WEBEX informational session, you'll have the chance to talk to members from student engagement, including myself, Erin, and Beth. And we also invite all of our current club members to come in and join and meet prospective members, share information about your clubs, or just share information about your involvement experience as well. So again, that would be tomorrow, September 16th, from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. The WebEx information should be at the bottom of the screen right now, or you can find it in the Harper Happenings newsletter.
Thank you for that, Melanie. And I just want to note as well, if some of you out there love social media like I do, you can find us and follow along on social media at Harper Wellness, and Student Involvement also has a social media along with many others on campus. But also you can follow along with many clubs and organizations on campus. So if you want to find out what they're doing and some of the things that are happening, follow them and keep updated, and let us know if you have questions.